basically what we're going to talk about is who we are, a little bit about what we do ourselves, some of our goals for the network, some of our challenges, a high-level discussion of what we've got going on in the network here, and just have basically a Q&A. We want to get feedback from the audience to really understand what you would like us to do, where you want us to go, things you'd like us to see or like to have us do. Has anybody heard about this? It's a new meme we're starting. It's called Pen Test John. Enables SSH, can't get in. All right, so let's start off with Heather, who's going to be introducing Lockheed.
Hi, I'm Heather. I'm also representing Lockheed today. Some of you, if you've gone to the DEF CON networking site and seen some of the updates and the graphs, he is the mastermind behind creating that content and keeping that up to date. Lockheed has been with DEF CON since, I believe, DC3, and he's been running the network. He is the primary lead for the network team, and I am the second. He also built the mobile agenda. I'm not sure if any of you used that this year, but it was on both. It was up both this year and last year. Pretty handy, quick reference guide. And I've been with DEF CON since DC9, so this is about my 10th year. And I do a lot of the tactical operations on the ground.
All right. So next would be Mac.
Yep. I'm Mac. I handle a large part of the wired infrastructure and servers and services for the network. Make sure that the baseline connectivity is there, uplinks, wired jacks for the speakers, goons, vendors, contests, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. I'm Video Man. I've been doing this since DEF CON 6, basically. It's been really fun and challenging seeing things grow over the years. We went from an infrastructure at the Alexis Park where literally we would get up on roofs and run cable, in 100-degree weather, or run cables across the parking lot. And seeing this network mature and seeing it grow into what it is today has been really fun, really great. And hopefully it provides value to the conference attendees. For sure, it's definitely provided value from the perspective that, updates.defcon.org. How many people use that site? A few of you? Okay. I mean, that's the info booth. They set that up. They come in and do that, and we provide the network for that. If that network wasn't there, that wouldn't be there. All right. Next, Luiz.
I'm Luiz. I've been doing the wireless network here for, I think this is my 6th year. So have done 1 year at the Alexis Park, another year, or all the years at the Riviera, and now we're here.
I'm Derek. I'm the guy who runs DCTV. I've been with DEF CON since DEF CON 12. Oh! So, out of curiosity, how many of your drunk, hungover asses were sitting in bed watching DCTV this morning? I just want to see a show of hands. That's awesome. Okay.
Sorry for the outage. That one was my fault. Not
DCTV's changed a lot over the years, especially the ones where we didn't have it. It's been a long time since we had all the pure analog balance and old analog cameras switching over to what we have now. We're now running MPEG-4 over IP, over a 4,000-foot fiber trunk all the way to the cable TV head end. In the other total end of the building. So that was a bit of a challenge to set up. We had a lot of last-minute changes to the infrastructure, but it looks like it worked out pretty good.
Special thanks to the Sound and Knowledge folks. They helped pull it together.
Yeah. Yes, props to Sound and Knowledge.
Sparky.
My name is Michael, or Sparky. I guess I'm essentially the DC tech for the NOC. Everything you see taped to the floor, my blood, sweat, and tears went into that fine, fine work. Resident bartender. Yeah, that's about it. I've been with DEF CON since DEF CON 8.
Without Sparky, there would be no network. Ripshi, who's down at the end.
Yes, my name is Ripshi. My responsibilities basically are very similar to Sparky's. We run as a team. We run around. We make sure everything is working at the last minute. Do repairs if necessary. Tack down table, put in switches, anything you guys need. We make sure it happens.
and Eric, who's a new addition to our team.
Hello, I'm Eric, and what I've been doing all along this week is to try to ensure you have the wireless coverage and reachable for almost all the time.
So he lost 10 pounds doing walkthroughs through the whole week, pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's a lot of weight for a little man.
Yeah, I mean, so basically Luiz and Eric are in charge of the wireless infrastructure. And, you know, we arrived on site on Sunday and started setting up the infrastructure, and a few arrived on Saturday as well. But Luiz and Eric actually go through and started reassigning all the access points. We did a little bit of an upgrade we'll talk about a little bit later, and they're that team. The last person on the list is Tease, who actually wasn't able to join us. He just got a new job, which is good, but unfortunately couldn't take the time off. But what he does is a lot of the content updates. So yeah, we've got the mobile edition, me.defcon.org, that he helped put together. He's helped with a lot of our maintenance of our wiki that we're using. What else? What other duties has he put together? I think that's...
General cable bitch.
Yeah.
General bitch.
All right. So what is the network, right? Some of our goals is reliable connectivity. You know, if you're going to come to a network or come to a conference and have a network connection, it needs to be somewhat reliable. Secure-ish, because we don't know if someone has a 0-day for the wireless network, right? We say secure-ish because now we have WPA with enterprise management on it. Basically allows you to log into that. How many people here actually created a login before they came? All right, how did you find out about it? Twitter. Was that primary? All right. Then that's great, because that's something that we've kind of used as a team. If we know something, we try and tweet it out like, hey, go do this. And then usually someone retweets it for us, which is good.
I was going to say, we also pay attention to the Twitter stream a lot. You know, so if some people are complaining about particular problems in an area or something, that's one of the ways we've been trying. That's our poor man's ticketing system.
So the other thing, does anybody remember at the Alexis Park? I think it was the first or second year. Basically, Gent, who is no longer with the team, due to, well, anyway, he brought along a switch from one of his work, like what was it, a 4000 or 6000 series switch, and we went, oh, we've got 100 and some odd ports, let's plug them all in. So we plugged all the ports in, made all the ports in the conference center active, and what you'd have happen is people would come along and plug in and go, oh, I can get access here, great. And then people would be like, oh, do you have a hub or a switch? Oh, sure. They'd plug that in, and all of a sudden you'd have this train of people going down the hall. It was kind of funny. I mean, cool, but funny.
Except for to the fire marshal.
Yeah. So the fire marshal, I don't know if anybody remembers that, but we had problems with the fire marshal at the Alexis Park. And so we said, okay, we can't do this. People need to be able to be mobile and be able to get access. So at that point, we started really deploying a wireless network. The wireless network at that time was in no way secure at all. It was all just open wireless access points. And so basically, all right, let's work towards something that people can get access to anywhere. The other thing, we have a boatload of segmentation. We have speakers, press, all the speaking tracks. So like this podium has its own VLAN, has its own network. Each of the 5 tracks that we have out there have their own VLAN. We decided to change that up. Last year it was one VLAN for all the speaking tracks, and then someone decided to do some man-in-the-middle on the speaker network, and we're like, yeah, maybe we should change that. So we did. It's constantly a growing process, a learning process, and that's really what this is about. But right now, I think we're at 199 VLANs that we've configured on the back end. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. What is it? 140 are for wireless?
140 are for wireless, and 59 are for
all the various
wired drops. And we had 69 actual drops into the spaces, so only 10 of those drops shared VLAN segmentation with anybody else.
Yeah, and those are primarily the contest And unless we get a specific requirement that it needs to be on its own network, we kind of say, all right, maybe some people can share. It reduces the load that we have. I don't know what our back-end switches can hold off the top of my head. It's like 300 VLANs, I think, is what we max out at. But all right, so some of our challenges. I mean, we don't have an infinite budget, right? We actually, I mean, when we started out doing this, we said, all right, what can we get off of eBay? What do we have that we can borrow? And that worked out well for quite a while. Unfortunately, we can't go borrow Aruba controllers because sometimes they're in use. Well, most of the time they're in use. So what was that, DEF CON 13? 13, that we actually went out and purchased the wireless controller, the Aruba wireless controller, primarily because it would have some IDS built into it, you know, intrusion detection, be able to detect rogue APs. I think that was the year that there was some contest that was doing something in the contest area, like a King of the Hill access point or something. And we would see it and we'd DOS it and we'd say, all right, no, it's not on the network, gone. You know, 5 minutes later, access point would disappear. And the next day it would show up again. We're like, come on, guys. And finally, at Sunday afternoon, I think they came back into the NOC and they're like, yeah, we tried to do this contest, but unfortunately our access point kept dying. We're like, oh, yeah, that was us. So coordination also helps with us. Hotel. Does anybody want to speak about the hotel?
Sure. Are you looking for space usage or, you know?
The logistics here.
Yeah, you know, obviously you've been walking the half a kilometer back and forth through the convention space, so you know what the walk is like. Actually, I think the space this year is incredible. Our wireless design has improved greatly, just due to the way that we've been able to use the space. The hotel staff are fantastic. We've had just a great partnership with them this year, and while we had a good partnership with the Riviera, things are just really smooth here, and you know, frankly, it's a nice way to transition into a new hotel. We have, and I don't know if you want me to get into this right now, but we have better bandwidth options here. They have metro area Ethernet here, so we have some flexibility to, you know, move up in bandwidth. The infrastructure itself, while different from the Riviera, has worked out well for our needs. And really, it seems like even the traffic flow has been better for the humans. So
the other thing is, when we were at the Alexis Park, it was a non-union hotel, which meant we would grab a cherry picker and literally at like 3 o'clock in the morning be driving around the hotel spaces, driving this cherry picker, going, zip tying the access points, running the cable down. We all did that, like everybody pitched in. You know, we'd get the network set up just before the attendees would come in because we really didn't have the space beforehand. But when dealing with union hotels, we now can't touch certain things. You know, the lighting grid, you know, electrical things, hanging things on ceilings, hanging things on walls, sometimes has to be done by a union staff. So that in itself was also a challenge for us because we didn't think like that. We had to change our way that we were dealing with the hotel. The infrastructure here, Mac, do you want to talk about the fiber?
Yeah, so moving from the Riv to the Rio is really, it is a different stage of hardware infrastructure, different level of IDFs, different connectivity between them. Here we have